Something wonderful within our nation is about to take place. It's magnificent. It's almost like the line used in the movie 2010 when the American spaceship had to join with the Russian ship to get out of a certain orbit that was about to be destroyed, and the mysterious person came telling the captain something wonderful is about to happen. This something wonderful will take place in America almost immediately once again. The extraordinary thing is the solution was always there, and it's always been simple. Our country could have gone back to being a prosperous nation leading the free world as the last superpower on earth any time we wanted. Like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz kicking her heels as Glinda the Good Witch from the North explained to her, you always had the power. You could have gone back at any time. Well, listen, let's get into it. Let me explain how it's about to happen. The United States government is about to unite itself with its citizens, corporations, and the private sector of all nations within us. Government officials and cabinet members will work hand in hand with companies throughout the country to provide not just the basic necessities of life, food, clothes, shelter, and emergency first aid, to citizens within the nation, but also a new way of life. A new industry is about to be born that provides citizens throughout the many cities and states not just what they need, but what they want, a prosperous way of life. The government and the corporations working hand in hand will provide homes, schools, offices, medical facilities, portable farms, and jobs in abundance. Not just minimum wage jobs, but living wage jobs. Not just living wage jobs, but prosperous careers. Successful entrepreneurships will spread across the country from one end of our nation to the other. Again, once started, our nation's economy, this moment on life support, will be revived and rejuvenated to the point where it breathes life-sustaining wealth throughout the international communities around the globe. Partnerships will develop between the federal government, local authorities, and the private sector corporations, providing information, economic job centers in every city across the country. These centers will be sponsored by corporations, providing revenue in the billions for the federal government and the local communities. In the end, not a single dollar will have been spent by the government for this program. No new tax dollars given, no new taxes raised, no services cut, or furlough days to government workers. No IOUs will be issued. All bills will be paid by the system itself. The sponsoring corporations are estimated to receive 200 to 400 more than they gave out for these economic information job centers. A conservative estimate of $1 trillion domestically and $1 trillion internationally of new revenue will be generated and shared by every city and state in the Union. Yes, that's $2 trillion on an annual basis. This new industry will not just provide the estimated $2 trillion in and out of the country, but 10 million jobs within the first year of the program's completion. This new abundant income will be shared in each city across the nation. All of this magnificent revenue and tremendous prosperity, supported by living wage jobs and daily entrepreneurships, will be a conservative level of achievement potential within this new industry. Now, we've come to the point of explaining the details of this economic new revenue jobs program. That before I give you the solution of what our nation will undertake, I'd like to dispel some criticisms that this program has received since it was introduced 3 administrations ago, simply because it wasn't the norm. It wasn't the way lobbyists, politicians, and those elected to office desperately trying to hold on to power did things. There's too much clinging to the old, wrong way of doing things. Too many public officials are frightened by the new frontiers that this nation must pioneer, not just for our own citizens, but for the entire global community. Again, as I said, this book could easily be titled "America Still the Single Greatest Nation on the Face of the Earth, a Nation Blessed by God." Because our blessings from the Creator Himself lavished on us the ability to have our nation and its people prosper and have that prosperity spill over to blessings for nations around the world. Therefore, from President Clinton's administration through President Bush administration and now with President Obama, this proposal, then titled the Watchman Program, was introduced almost on a daily basis to every congressman, every House of Representatives, FEMA, before Homeland Security, the entire Department of Homeland Security, in every city and state across the Union. This proposal was sent out as a solution. And every time it has been introduced, it has literally fallen on deaf ears. Might I add, not just ears that cannot hear, but eyes that cannot see, or shall I say, refuse to look. In many cases, tragically, we have been so used to doing things the old rusted, corrupted way, our nation is on the fringe of collapse. Now, thankfully, throughout this administration, common sense is becoming more common again, and we're fighting our way back. But the fight has literally been 12 years and counting. On March 11, 2011, the day of Japan's earthquake, President Obama said, "We need to reduce our demand for oil." Also, President Bush on February 1st, 2006 said, "We have a serious problem. America is addicted to oil, which is often imported from unstable parts of the world." Reconciling us author. We can immediately achieve our goal of reducing the use of foreign fuels with the Watchman Program, making new facilities gridless and taking old facilities off the grid. 10,000 emergency information centers will be set up across the country, which themselves will be built gridless, not hooked up to any outside local power source. This information job centers will be examples of portable facilities operating on renewable energy power sources. Moreover, an array of homes, schools, offices, and medical units, also green gridless units, will be on display. These centers of education will produce millions of jobs in new construction, manufacturing, and marketing positions. Maintaining this new green industry across the nation will sustain millions of jobs throughout the country. When this new technology is utilized throughout the nation, a weaning process will be in full swing, replacing foreign fuels with renewable energy.